So always keep aware of that. That futures trading is a very high risk business, and you know we play the odds and we try to do our best to get the right situation. And right now we are short at 55.75, and I'm detecting a possibility of a swing trade here. We shorted them right up here. They're jamming a little bit against the trade, but here's what I'm seeing. I got to scrunch the chart together a little bit here. And who knows, maybe they're just, what happened today was we had the release of the prisoners from um, North Korea, and that's just creating a tremendous bullish mood to the markets here. But we do have a swing trade here, a tremendous swing trade that has ramped up tremendously, and I'm looking for this to fade out eventually, not become bearish, but just eventually fade out. But boy, they keep pushing it, but we're running into this. It's currently 111 right now. And the 120 time is a very interesting phenomenon. When you get a market all goosed up like this, it has a very unusual phenomena about it where 10 minutes prior and after there can often be a shift in a market that's fairly one-sided, in this case up, and we have a radical extreme wave 1 on Elliott, a very complex wave 2 pullback, which means if wave 2 is complex, wave 4 should be simple. A huge wave 3. I mean, this market is mad. Here's a real simple wave 4 pullback. This is red candles, but not a wave. It's not part of a wave because we didn't get a counter arrow. See, my algorithms set these arrows here. And then this is a wave 5 move. So right now we're watching to see if, I estimated the area to get short in this at being around 66 here. I hope it's right, but if it is, this is an Elliott wave short trade, and the C wave, this is like a or a B. See this pullback, A wave, B, and now I got the short on here at 55.75, technically 56, and I'm watching for a stronger pullback now. In a perfect world is going to give us a pullback at least down to this orange line, but odds favor more of a pullback into the fourth wave. That's the usual rule, especially with a radical move like this. So I'm going to use these yellow lines here, and I'll thicken them up a little bit. That's the estimated area we should be able to go now that we have the Elliott setup in place.
Order
We should
pending.
be able to get a larger scale move on the downside. And we have triple exhaustion on the 5 minute ES. That's another sign of possibility of a stronger pullback. So, all you can do is stack up all the stuff in front of you and say, okay, therefore, we should be able to move down to around 50. And I've got
Order.
a limit set here at 52 just because it's so damn bullish today. maybe just maybe getting them right back completely into the center of the fourth wave won't happen. So we'll put it at the top, 52, and see if we get lucky. So that's the setup. That's the deal. And this is the chart we're working at. This is short on the mini NASDAQ. And see how they keep popping it back. It's been really stubborn. Stubborn as can be in terms of offering any pullbacks today. There's been some. It's not like it's an abnormal. We had about a week ago that I recall, we had an abnormal market that just refused to pull back the whole day. It just was so strange. Wouldn't do anything. It's not natural. You don't, that's not possible
Order
really. The only way
pending.
that's possible is by rigging. You can't have a market that, if there's traders, they have different views and they're getting out of longs and buying into getting short, and they're getting out of shorts, getting into longs. It's just, you don't have everybody on the buy side and nobody is not selling unless there's some kind of, good old boys club rule, which I call a selling boycott, where they kind of put the word whisper out. Nobody's selling today, according to the, don't sell. Don't sell. We got your badge number. Stuff like that. I don't know. Who the hell knows with these people? So crude oil, so far, 6 winning trades a day on crude oil. Absolutely beautiful. The last one
Order
we talked about
pending.
was this one, I believe. Since then, oh no, this one. This was the modification rule on the buy side. Remember that? And then we came in here. You had the cross under of the Cobra right here. Still not a flat uh, market here yet. So no trade here. Flat dynamic trend band number 2. No trade here. Oh, we talked about this one. It was already flat. This is still sloping up and everything was done. You're not going to go short there. That's a huge fat channel. If you turn your head to the left, you can see that. But this is like a quasi, well, this was a cross under. You see that? Even though the DTBs were matching, still it was a cross under, telling you to watch for sell pressure. Classic boomerang here. Matching DTBs on the sell channel. Open the channel, pull back the signal line, and down they go for 10 ticks. We just scalped for 8 to 10 ticks on the crude oil, and so far today, 70 ticks. Beautiful. And here goes Naz again. Just refuses to back off. It just strikes me as such an outrageously rigged contract today. Although I appreciate, admire the good news, something's up with this thing because it's just very extreme that they're not giving up anything here. But I think it's coming. Let's see if we can get them to go. Start to push this thing lower. Now we're just sitting here dead quiet, hanging up. If that isn't proof that this thing is rigged, I don't know what more you need. They're just hanging right at this price. No rhyme or reason, no pullbacks in spite of the exhaustion levels, the Elliott wave. It's a crony loading operation. I'm almost positive of it. They're taking advantage of this news to do a crony loading operation. They're hanging the price up, putting the word out. Maybe I'm going to be wrong. Maybe it's going to just endlessly keep ramping up. But for now, it strikes me that that's what they're doing. Well, we don't allow trading today. We just go up, make minor pullbacks, ramp them right back up. And now that we're totally exhausted, we just stall the market. We don't let it pull back at 1020 or 120. We just stall it. That's what we do. Because that's the pivotal time usually. Very frequently, you'll see that as a pivotal time. Oh, and we engage a red candle that's getting goosed up. It's a red candle. Underlying algorithm is bearish, but we goose a red candle up. So weird. All right, we're short right around 56, and once again, they just can't seem to stop playing games, and they just keep goosing it up. I don't mind it. I love it when it goes up. But the problem is when you don't have a refreshing pullback, it doesn't. It's just it stinks. It's fake, and the problem is we're getting blasted again here. They're not letting me get out of the trades. They're not letting me trade the market here. And people think, oh, just buy the pullbacks. Yeah, really? Where? You do that. Are you doing that? No. Okay. I expect you to do it. Well, where do you buy the pullbacks? You see? You just hopelessly, you absolutely confidently expect that it's just going to keep going up forever and you just buy every pullback? I don't know. That's how it worked today. But boy, this first leg up, that was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Look at that. It was just treacherous. It's like climbing up a jagged cliff without a rope. And every time you reach up to grab a cliff or rock, everything's jagged. Oh, you cut your hand again. And then you go pull it up somehow and your hand's hurting and bleeding. And you grab the next rock. Oh, cut your hand again. That's what this was. Then they start doing this choppy, weird pullback, and then these out of nowhere gooses. I swear to God, this is some kind of rigging operation. Anyway, let's see how the mop flops. Spiders up. Those puts are very cheap now, but let's see if this market's going to drop back for us. It's a little bit of a problem, but we're all right. We got time on our side. A little bit of time. About a week max.
Order pending.
Interesting though, even though the price are up on the NAS and the Dow's starting to fade a little bit in advance because our puts are now bidding 60, which is our second level entry, and they had dipped down a little bit, and now they're starting to show some strength. And often that's a time when you see the puts starting to show a little kick. that maybe they're, let's see what the volume is. Anyway, let's see if we can get them going. We're short at 55.75. It's the same old routine with markets like these. You can get upset when they're pushing against you in this net, but then you just have to be patient. That comes with time and experience. And all of a sudden they're trading down at 50, and you got out because you're mad because they were kept pushing higher, and we stayed short, and now we're making money. And I still think they're going to 52. I think this Elliott wave pattern is going to get fulfilled. So, I'm just making a point that, I mean, that's part of trading. You have to know how to deal with stuff like that. If you don't, then that's where you hear all the stories, because inexperienced people trading are going to not know how to handle some of this stuff, and that's where things get a little tricky. Anyway, let's see if we can get this thing going. The key level 62, holding under 62. We may finally get a trend down move going now. It's possible because it has been one serious fiasco here. But we've had a um, triple exhaust on the upside. On the ES, we're starting to get some red ink on their 13-minute chart. So holding under 52, we may just be able to get this thing going here. Well, let's see what we got here. 61 ask on our options now. Our average price 71 on the two entries. And now they're breaking them down a little. Let's go, baby. 62, holding them down under 62. Let's get in the 50s. Let's get them in the 50s and start to hit them a little harder here. We're trying to target, if we can trend down here and start fading it, starting to fade that Dow a little bit. Look at that Dow fading up there. We can start to fade this Dow, get NAS rolling back. Let's see how the percentages are stacking up here. See now, look at how do you like that? This is what I suspected. NAS is a little bit harder, stronger. The other two now are starting to fade. Transportation and industrial average are starting to fade. I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's a little stronger, and I was suspecting that. But now we're in the 50s. I think they'll catch up. Very strong advanced decline line, but that's sort of an already run. I think that'll be supportive, but it's already run. But that's a hugely positive advanced decline line there. And the rest of the deal, gold is pushing up a little bit. Gold's worried about something. Let me check zero hedge again in the news. Here comes the spiky clowns back with their little spikes. They got them down to 57.75. 55.75 is 10 points. We don't have all the time in the world, so we do need to I think though if this is going to trend now right here again, this would be the classic second level entry right here on a pullback. It would actually be right there, right exactly there, 64. 64. Did you see that print 64? Let's see if they do it again. 63 half or higher would be the classic sell back into the bias. So I'm going to note that there, 63 half right there. So that's like a second level. Now what we want to do is we want to see 63 half, ideally hang back under 65-ish and not get goosed up again by these damn rigs. Oh, look at that. See that right when I said that? Look how quickly they collapsed. That's the kind of action we want to see. Now the sellers are coming back in. They're fading the Dow out here a little bit. Let's see if we can take this thing down. Did you catch that right when I'm glad I got that there. Right when I said now we need to see him instead of goose him up fall. Notice how quickly they fell back. Now that's a sign that sellers are getting a little bit anxious here, going, hey, wait a minute, something's going on here. So let's see if we can ideally hold them under 65. And I don't know why they're coming back up here again. I guess, the bouncers are still in there. But let's see if we can get them back in the 50s and start pushing that price down. Get that price rolling back under 57 half. We're in a swing trade, so we want to make sure and try to hold out for the right amount. But the rule of swing trade is we take, if you have multiple contracts, then we're going to take partial off at the 10-point level, 55.75. They're jamming it back up to 3. It's just like a fiasco today. They're just really playing their game. It's artificial, I can tell, because they just keep popping it back up here. Now I think it's ready to start to fade, but I sure hope so. I don't know. Maybe they start doing their game again. Let's see what we got. Headline and zero hedge. What are they saying? Israeli airstrike. Oh, that's old news. Was the most extensive attack in decades. However, this news I'm expecting can come back into people's minds where they start going, yeah, it's positive the North Korean prisoners are out and there's a meeting scheduled in a month, but whoa, whoa, whoa. This is pretty heavy here. What the heck's going on? They're trying to start a war because it's just, who knows? I do, but I don't want to say anything right now. So, cryptos crack. I don't know about that. I don't care that much about those. They're pushing it. It's a new phenomenon, so whatever. Um, so anyway, let's see if that's going to become a more prominent headline about the Israeli airstrike. Is that going to come back in the picture, or are we just back to wasting time as these riggers keep propping up the market? We're trying to get a drop going, taking them down under 57 again, dipping them down to the 56 area so we can take 10 points on a partial on this thing. And then ideally the fulfillment of the whole trade would be a move down to 52. In a normal Elliott wave swing trade pattern, that's what we'd look for. So let's see if we can get them going under 59 again and then under 57 and see where we go from there. It's not my fault the markets are acting this way. They act different every day. You just kind of go in and you try to work the trade around what is going on, but as futures traders, this is what people don't understand. They're so brilliant in hindsight. I mean, it cracks me up how they don't get that, the beginners. Everybody's an expert in hindsight. When you're trading the futures, you're actually like a junior Nostradamus. You're putting on a trade using tools and indicators and experience to forecast the prices here, right? And it's here and I'm forecasting it's going there. But if you sit in the market and it goes from in an hour and it's down here, it does absolutely no good to go, oh, couldn't you see the market was going lower? I mean, I can't believe it. All beginners do that, but sometimes they persist in that. And then they'll expect, a professional like myself to always be right or something like that. Well, it's not possible. You do your best, but sometimes the markets like today, they just kind of are handing you a type of scenario where you have to work around it to try to get the profits you want to get. Now they're doing kind of a little choppy. See how this level right here? So 60 is now like a really vital level. So we have to get that price under the 60 handle. You can see there's been 4 or 5 taps on it. This is one that broke them down a little stronger, and that's because there's just a pile on. So now we got to get that price under 60, and then there's a possibility that we'll be able to get things rolling back lower. I'm not expecting any kind of crash or anything today like that. In fact, I think they'll kind of hang them up, but I'm at least expecting them to break down under 60. Remember, 56 or lower, take 10 points partial. It's up to you how much you want to take, but 56 or lower is 10 points partial gain on the multiples. If you're trading 2 or 3 or more, take something off just to cushion the trade in the hopes that they will go down. In fact, just a coincidence, but that orange line is right there at 56. That's an old level from long ago. It's just a coincidence that that is the number we're watching for taking partial, but I'm glad it's there. It makes my job easier. And then breaking under that, we're ideally going to get a drop down to 52 to 53 zone. We're kind of watching now to see if indeed
Order pending.
they're going to be able to keep the pressure on this market under 59 and keep rolling them back. I sure hope so. We're trying to get them down to at least 56 to take the 10 points on the partial and then further collapse down to that 52 area. Let's get them going. Trading 62 now on the on our put option, and we're still got the Dow way up. So picture if I like to use if the Dow fades this 200 points and then goes negative, not today, but over the next few days because of whatever, fill in the blank. Do you see what I mean? That's where we're going to cover up these puts. Ideally, with our average price of 71 cents, ideally, I'm just throwing this out, guessing, but around $2 or so. Okay, here we go. 56 or lower. There you go. 56 or lower. Take your profits there on partial, 10 points, and we'll watch for a dip down to 52. 52. Trying to get them down to 52. Take them out at that 52 half. Do you see the 52 half? That's close enough. You know me. You know how it works. I was adjusting a chart and they dove like that. They go 52 quarter. You got to take that out. Forget 52. We got a limit there, but you know the rules. A hard fast, that's a gift. So we're out at 53 or lower there. I'll work the trade. But if they bounce back, don't blame me. That you should have got them out there. I glanced over at this other chart, going, "Wow, what's going on? What's going on?" And they took that hard, fast dive right to 2 1/4, one tick above where I had marked 52, but these are not, they're just rough estimates of where I think they're going to go, and then I adjust them with the speed and velocity of that sell off there. You know me, you guys in the room know we should have got them out there. That was the goal. 2.25, that's close enough for rock and roll. And the exact low on this was 2.25. Let's try it again. I'll continue to monitor the trade here, but take them out at 3 or lower. And you would have normally heard me say that on any jam under 3, take them out. And we went 2.25. Again, for a millisecond, I had my head over on another chart looking at another screen, and I looked over and holy, and that's when they dove down there. So right now, just try to get them out at 3 or lower, and that'll be excellent. But we're already out. Those experienced in the room here know that we're already out of that trade. So I'll use 10 points. Um, there's a couple things going on in this trade. First of all, I reshorted second level at 63.50. Let me monitor this and see if we can get them down under 3 so we can absolutely finalize the trade. But I consider it already finalized on that dive under 3. You guys know that's a gift and you take it. You don't wait for 2 and miss out. But I'm going to monitor the trade. Let's get them back under 3 here, and then we can settle our business on this trade, because there was that second level re-entry there at 63.50, which ended up being good for 10 points too. I'm not going to count that, but I'm just saying that was a recommendation for a second level re-entry, and or um, if you hadn't gotten the trade yet and you thought you wanted to wait for it to start going in that direction first, that's your chance. So let's see if they can knock them down to 3 or lower here again, just to solidify the trade. 375, 3 half, 3 even, we're out. Boom. 275. 275 print. So that's a
Order
good deal
target
there.
filled.
And here's how the trade broke down. Plus 10 points on the partial at 55.75. And if you held for the full trade, it was 65.75 minus, and I'll use 53. 65.75 minus 53 is plus 12.75. Plus 12.75 gain on that baby. And now you can see things starting to fade here following our script. Gang, it looked to me like a crony loading operation. I said that earlier. The way they were trading and acting with the riggers playing games, it looked like a crony loading operation. If it was, now this is the part you'll like, because we're holding these put options here, which are now bidding 64. We've got about a week on these before I want to get out of them. Sooner the better, but we need to see the Dow, you know, we need to see the SPY currently 271.94. We're short from around the 271.50 area on these puts, these 66 puts. You get that down under 270 in the 60s, 69, 68, good years. I remember them well. And we'll get that breaking down in there, and we'll get these. See, look at it. It was a crony loading operation. Look at them smashing the market. All they kept doing, jamming it up and up and up, and now they're killing it. So it was probably what I said. They were hanging it up and spiking it up. They're letting the cronies get in. It's disgusting, but it happens all the time in the wonderful world of the markets. Anyway, so that's the scoop on what, and you can do this tomorrow because our room's closed tomorrow. We trade Monday through Thursday, and watch for the spider to start backing off under 271 or lower and do a give up. Look at that market getting smashed on the NASDAQ. Holy smokes. And that's great. We don't ever think, oh, would have, should have, could have held them longer. We had our target. We made 1275. We're quite happy on that. And I did have that additional, for those of you wanted to add contracts or take advantage of that additional re-entry at 63.50 for plus 10 points also. But great job holding the trade and getting that 1275. Fantastic.